As people are beginning to arrive to the meeting, we're going to give a few minutes for everybody to join the Zoom call, but welcome.
Oh, yes, yeah. I know it's granite is this kind of a different animal anyway. So yeah, but it's there. Okay, thank you. Appreciate your help.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Central Indiana Waste Diversion Pilot Project information session. I'm going to give it one more minute. We do have quite a few, about twice as many people signed up as who are currently on the phone or on the Zoom. So we'll give them one more minute before we get started. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started with our housekeeping, and hopefully we'll have a few others join us. Thank you for joining us today. I am Deanna Garner. I am the Recycling Market Development Program Manager for Items Office of Program Support. All microphones are currently muted. We ask that you turn your camera off during the presentation. If you have a question and would like to turn your camera on at that time, you may do so. We will be utilizing the chat and raise hand feature for questions and comments from participants at today's meeting. If you have a question, to access that raise hand and chat feature, it will either be at the bottom or top of your screen, depending on your device. You'll see a menu bar, and you may have to move your mouse or touch your screen for the menu bar to pop up. In the middle of that menu, there is a chat icon, which you can click on to show the chat dialog. You should also see the raise hand option. Please utilize the raise hand or chat features if you have any questions or comments, and you'll be called upon after the presentation during the question and answer session. For those on the phone, if you have a question or comment, you can raise your hand by pressing *9, and we will call on you at the appropriate time. When called upon, you'll need to unmute your phone by pressing *6. For everyone present via Zoom in today's meeting, please identify yourself when speaking. And if any members of the media have joined us, please utilize the chat feature or email media@idem.in.gov if you have any questions or would like to schedule an interview. This meeting is being recorded and will be posted on IDEM's website at recycle.in.gov. With that, we will begin today's Central Indiana Waste Diversion Pilot Project info session. And I want to take a moment to share my screen. And go ahead and talk about all of our funding opportunities we have through the recycling program at IDEM's Office of Program Support. So in addition to what we're talking about today with the Central Indiana Waste Diversion Pilot Project, we also have the Recycling Market Development Program grants eligible for businesses, solid waste management districts, towns, municipalities, and nonprofits. And we have our Community Recycling Grant Program, which is actually about to open for another round of applications in September. Those grants are available to nonprofits, towns, municipalities, solid waste management districts, and schools. So getting to the heart of the matter, Central Indiana Waste Diversion Pilot Project. This was established for the purposes of determining the most practical and effective means of diverting recyclable materials from waste streams for the purpose of commercial reuses. We are accepting applications now through October 1st. You will also see that after October 1st deadline, the approval of the award by the board is set for approximately February of 2023. The date is to be determined at our next board meeting on October 27th. That's when, but it will be the first board meeting of 2023. That's the Recycling Market Development Board that I'm referencing there. After awarding by the board, contract approval on average takes about 90 days. So we're looking at a target date to start the pilot project of May of 2023. Additional details about the project or projects. I just want to make it clear that the board may award more than one project, but up to that $4 million limit. Eligible candidates can seek funding for up to the full $4 million, but the project location is limited to Marion County. This does not mean the facility needs to be located in Marion County, but the waste diversion should be taking place in that county. Priority is given to the largest amount of waste diversion potential, and the duration of the pilot project may not exceed 2 years after the date that the pilot project commences. That's the date of the executed contract, so that target date of May 2023. Looking at the objectives and our priorities for this pilot project, an applicant must demonstrate direct connectivity and diversion of valuable raw material for procurement to identified Indiana-based end markets as a commodity. Other considerations will include the amount and type of material to be diverted, economic development results, infrastructure expansion, and feasibility of expansion of the project throughout Indiana. Applicants must submit the following items: a completed Central Indiana Waste Diversion Pilot Project application. This is a state form found on the item agency forms page and linked from our Central Indiana Waste Diversion Pilot Project webpage. You can see a picture of the form. There are multiple forms for our recycling program, so make sure that you open and fill out the correct one. Excuse me. You must include quotes for service and equipment, proof of funding for project costs beyond the awarded project amount. So if the project is bigger project than the $4 million or whatever amount that that project may be awarded, we need to see that proof of funding available to complete the whole project. Excuse me. As well as we'd like to see supporting documents such as letters of support, partnership agreements, project flow diagrams, location maps, and other documents of that sort as they apply to your project. In addition, applicants must be in good standing and compliant with all federal, state, and local regulations. After we receive your applications, a site visit will be conducted to review your compliance with those regulations. You must also, and most importantly, provide detailed responses to all applicable questions on the application form. So detail is key. I can't emphasize this enough. We don't want one or two sentence answers. You can refer to the guidelines also available on the pilot project's website, but this includes details such as, you know, the infrastructure for the project, the sectors impacted, include process flow diagrams, the roles and experience of key staff, as well as the roles of any partners that you may be included in this project. In addition, you want to make sure that your project best matches the purposes of the Central Indiana Waste Diversion Pilot Project as it's stated in Indiana Code 13-20-26-1A. So what does that Indiana Code kind of lay out? The purpose, it kind of lays out that purpose of this pilot project, and it's for determining the most practical and effective means of addressing domestic supply chain disruptions, also preventing the unnecessary disposal of potentially valuable recycled materials from landfills and waste incinerators, stimulating economic development, including job potential and market development, as well as determining the feasibility of expanding this project throughout Indiana. Once we receive the applications, IDEM will review the applications for the amount and type of waste diverted, for the method or methods of waste collection, sorting, and diversion. We are looking for quantifiable measurement of the outcomes, an identification of end-use markets, and additional information that demonstrates potential success of the project, including a cost-benefit analysis, any additional partnerships, and additional funding contributions to match the funds going from the pilot project. Recommendations will be provided to the Recycling Market Development Board by December 1st. At this time, applicants will also be notified via email of IDEM's decisions. Recommended applicants are invited to the next scheduled board meeting in February to be available to answer specific questions and clarifications from the board. Please note that the applicant's proposed project, once they receive a notification of recommendation to the board, is not an award, is not a funding award or authorization to begin implementing the project. The project cannot be implemented if awarded funding until we have a contractual agreement in place, which is usually 90 days out from the time of award. The contractual agreement, I'd like to repeat this so that everybody's clear, cannot be executed before the project can be implemented. Did I say that right? The contractual agreement must be executed before the project can be implemented. Funds necessary to implement the project will be dispersed upon execution of the contractual agreement. A portion of that funding will be held until the last quarter of the project. Additional reporting is required as well. Quarterly progress reports after execution of the grant agreement are required and will include the technical progress of the project, any planned activities, a summary and proof of expenditures, the amount and type of waste being diverted, as well as final destination and end use of the materials diverted and other relevant information. In addition, awardees are required to submit an annual report via the Retrack Connect online reporting system to IDEM. So at this time, we are going to open it up for questions. We did receive some questions in advance of this information session, and I believe that our slides should have addressed most of your questions. So I am going to stop sharing my slide, and if you have your hand raised or if you have written something in the chat, we can go ahead and address additional questions at this time. This may be a quick session if nobody has any additional questions. I'm glad we are thorough. So if nobody has any questions, I'm going to real quick introduce our staff. So if you think of anything in the next couple of weeks.
It looks like Ellie has a question.
Okay, great, thank you. Ellie, if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself and you can ask your question for us. Okay, I see in chat, she says her microphone is not working. she asks, who needs recycled glass in Marion County? I don't think that's a question that the item can specifically answer. There's manufacturers throughout Indiana that use glass in the recycle. Are you asking for like glass cullet, or I'm not even sure specifically, or finished glass bottles, or what kind of commodity of recycled glass that you're looking for? Glass cullet, okay. Yeah, I would just kind of maybe send us a quick email, and maybe we can provide you with the name of some manufacturers throughout Indiana that use glass cullet. I know there's Strategic Materials, Knopf Insulation, as Malika just answered you, Knopf Insulation, and I believe there's a few others that could use glass cullet throughout the state that we could provide you with as well. I saw that. I think, Fred, do you have a question as well? He was there. Fred Reed, are you still on our call? He had his hand raised. Okay, well, real quick, if you guys think of other questions that arise in the next couple of weeks as you're filling out the application, of course, always feel free to reach out to me. I'll put my email address in the chat window again. And others on our staff that are on this call that can also help you with questions is Tom Lees. He's our environmental engineer and data coordinator for IDEM. And he is always useful and great, has a great history of our recycling market development program, as well as my supervisor, Pat Daniel. Also has great knowledge of the programs, and you guys should be seeing more of Carl Wadrich as well, our new assistant commissioner. So I'll take a brief moment to introduce him to you guys. All of us are available and happy to answer your questions as you work through the process of applying for the Central Indiana Waste Diversion Pilot Project. I will give you guys a real brief one more time. I'm going to just check for hands raised and questions in the chat window. And if there's nothing else, then we have a nice brief, quick meeting. Oh, I think I saw. Ellie, did you have an additional question, or is your hand still raised from before? Okay, I see another hand raised. Abby Engelberth, did you have a question? You can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask the question.
Yeah, I was wondering if there's any particular waste that IDEM would like to see targeted, or are kind of all waste streams eligible and up for grabs?
That's a great question. Yeah, all waste streams are eligible and up for grabs. We are looking at a waste mostly from municipal solid waste and organic waste.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. And Ellie asked, could a restaurant be considered for a grant? If it met the criteria, we don't specify in the statute what kind of entity can apply. So any entity can apply. It just needs a, we're looking at the greatest potential for waste diversion from final disposal. So we would want to see, of course, that restaurant hitting a large impact of potential diversion. But yes, they are eligible for applying. Any other questions? All right, if that answers everybody's questions, you get a few additional minutes back to your day. Thank you for coming on and joining us today. And again, feel free to reach out to me at any time. My email is now in the chat window with any of your questions. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
Hey, Deanna,
Oh, yes.
there looks like there's another question.
Okay, they come on right as I'm trying to conclude. Hi, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello, my name is Silam Avery. I am an artist here in Indianapolis, and I was late to the meeting, so I was wondering if you could do another brief, if that was all right, just a small brief of what was going on.
Sure. I mean, this is funding for waste diversion projects from landfill. And I think the best thing at this point, so that we're not keeping everybody on the line, is go to recycle.in.gov, and a recording of this meeting will get posted there within by the end of the week, by the end of the day tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And yes, someone else asked if we can get the slides. And so the recording of this will get posted on the website at recycle.in.gov. All right, with that, I think this time I will conclude. There's a few people leaving now. You guys have a good day and the rest of your afternoon. Thank you for joining us.